you've got this whole explanation of, okay, got it. So if I'm hearing you correctly, Chloe, you know, you've had a dream, I guess you could argue one of your biggest life dreams, to have a family, all the way back since you were in med school. And you thought maybe you'll just meet someone at med school, but now fast forward to 37 years old, you've realized that you're never going to meet someone if internally you're not at peace, and also externally you don't have any availability in your schedule because you're just wearing the blinkers to work yourself into the ground. And you keep running this cycle of getting burned out, having depression, you know, running that cycle over and over again. And it's been something that you've been able to rationalize and you've been able to bury your head in the sand until combination of things. You saw an ad from Julian that made you realize there's actually a solution to this. Probably didn't matter that much until 2 weeks ago. You held your baby niece in your hands and you had this click moment of realizing, shit, this is what I want in life. You then thought about it and remembered how old you are, respectfully, which is 37. You know the clock is ticking. And you then thought to yourself, which I commend you for, it would be entirely your own fault if, now knowing that there's a solution, having now experienced the cost, which is holding a baby in your hand, for you to not take the action steps that you need to invest in that solution, to do the hard work, so that before time runs out, you've actually done everything you can to fulfill your dream of having a family. Is that accurate? Yes. And the fact that you've pieced it all together, they're like, holy shit, like fucking Shakespeare. Like, how did you put it all together like that? And then I could wrap it all back and say, and so this is what you mean by this is not sustainable. And they're like, yeah, that's what I meant by not sustainable. And then all you need at the end of that is some type of how much longer question. How much longer are you willing to continue to not get to the root cause of your lack of work-life balance, lack of self-love, lack of being able to actually spend time doing the things you want to do, knowing that at 37 years old, the clock is ticking on your dream to have a family? How much longer are you willing to not actually get this solved? Not another day. Bingo. Done.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome, brother. So it's always just being able to truly see the constellations, like a star, of where all of the little data points are. And so notice that, because I know we've had this conversation many times recently in the mastermind, guys, when you're like, what's data? What do you mean by data? Notice, ignore this one here. Notice how none of these are numbers. None of these are numbers, yet they're all data points. I have a dream to have a family. I watched an ad from Julian. I held my baby niece in my hands. I would feel guilt and shame if I didn't do anything. I'm pre-menopause. I'm 37 years old. That one piece of data, 2 pieces of data, 3 pieces of data, 4 pieces of data, 5 pieces of data, 6 pieces of data, 7 pieces of data. That's your data gathering. That's what we mean by data. It's not, you know, how many dates did you go on in the last 15 years? Okay, 7. On a scale of 1 to 10, how did those guys rate up? They were an 8 out of 10. Okay, how much money do you make a year? I make 30,000 a month. Like, that's data as well. It's numbers, but that data was totally irrelevant on this call. How many deals have you already lost this week that you could have closed but didn't because you were out of state? I'm not a fan of sales hacks, but if there was one thing you could do before your next sales call to raise your closing percentage, it's using my patented pre-call checklist. Imagine taking just 60 seconds to read 5 to 7 personalized bullet points on a piece of paper, and as unbelievable as it may sound, puts you into the optimal state to access your highest sales skills on every call. That's the pre-call checklist. I'm going to show you how to create your own. All you need is a piece of paper and to go through the training that I'm going to give you. Thousands of salespeople have used this framework to close more deals, and you can have your own for free. No strings attached, in a matter of minutes. Click the link below this video, enter your email, and grab it right now.